The unsettling truth. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the air shift, as if the smiles greeting you were just a little too tight, a little too forced? Picture this. You're at work, exchanging pleasantries with a colleague who compliments your presentation. Their words are warm, their tone polished, but something in their eyes, a fleeting glint, a subtle edge, makes you wonder, do they really mean it? This is the unsettling truth we all brush against but rarely confront. Most people at some point harbor feelings of resentment, envy or disdain toward you, yet they cloak it behind a carefully crafted mask of civility. This isn't paranoia, it's human nature. We live in a world where social pressures demand we play nice, suppress our true emotions, and maintain the facade of harmony. But beneath those polite nods and rehearsed compliments, something darker simmers. A coworker's fleeting smirk when you get that promotion. A friend's backhanded comment disguised as a joke. These are not random moments. They're glimpses into a hidden reality where resentment festers, unspoken and unacknowledged. Why do we do this? Why do we hide what we really feel? The answer lies not just in our personal interactions, but in the very fabric of society, woven through centuries of survival, power struggles, and unspoken rules. This documentary will pull back the curtain on this silent epidemic, exploring the historical, psychological, and cultural forces that drive us to conceal our true selves. By the end, you'll see the world and the people around you in a new light, questioning what lies behind every smile. Let's begin by unraveling the roots of this hidden resentment, a story that stretches back to the dawn of human civilization. The historical roots of hidden resentment. Imagine a world where your survival hinges on the approval of those around you. A world where a single misstep, a moment of raw honesty, could mean exile, starvation, or death. This isn't a dystopian fantasy. It's the story of our ancestors, etched into the foundations of human civilization. To understand why so many people hide their resentment behind smiles, we must travel back to the dawn of society, where the seeds of this silent epidemic were sown. In ancient tribal communities, group cohesion was everything. Survival demanded unity against predators, rival tribes, or the brutal whims of nature. Expressing anger or envy openly risked fracturing the group, inviting chaos. So humans learned to swallow their bitterness, to mask their frustrations with nods of agreement. This wasn't cowardice, it was strategy. A hunter who envied another's skill kept quiet to avoid being cast out. A villager who resented the chief's power bowed low, hiding the dagger in their heart. These were the first masks, forged in the crucible of survival. Fast forward to the courts of medieval Europe, where this art of concealment reached new heights. Picture a noble in a glittering palace, surrounded by whispered intrigues. To survive the deadly game of power, they perfected the smile that hid contempt, the compliment that veiled ambition. Betrayal lurked behind every courteous gesture, as courtiers navigated a world where honesty could cost them their heads. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche saw this clearly. He called it ressentiment, a festering resentment born of powerlessness, where the weak hide their envy of the strong, biding their time with false deference. Nietzsche's insight wasn't just about kings and courtiers. Resentment runs through every layer of society, from feudal peasants to modern office workers. In hierarchical systems, where power and status are unequally distributed, those at the bottom, or even in the middle, learn to suppress their frustration. They smile, they nod, they play the part, but inside resentment brews. A serf who cursed his lord risked the whip. Today, an employee who challenges the boss risks their livelihood. The stakes have changed, but the game remains the same. This historical dance of hidden emotions isn't just a relic of the past. It's wired into our social DNA. The tribal instinct to maintain harmony, the courtier's knack for deception, the peasant's silent grudge. These are the threads that weave through our modern world. Every time someone congratulates you while secretly wishing for your failure, you're witnessing an echo of this ancient legacy. But why does this resentment persist so fiercely today? To answer that, we must turn to the human mind itself, where the real machinery of hidden hatred lies in wait. The psychology of secret hatred. Beneath the surface of every polite conversation, every forced laugh, lies a shadow, a part of the human mind that whispers things we dare not say aloud. Why do we resent others, yet cloak our feelings in kindness? The answer isn't just in our history, it's in our psychology, wired into the very circuits of our minds. This hidden hatred, this silent venom, is not an accident. It's a product of how we think, feel, and justify our darkest impulses. Consider a moment we've all experienced. Scrolling through social media, you see a friend's post about their latest promotion, their perfect vacation, their flawless life. You hit like, maybe even type a quick congrats, But deep down, a pang of envy stirs. Why them? Why not me? This is where the psychology of secret hatred begins, with comparison. Modern research shows that our brains are wired to measure ourselves against others, a survival mechanism from our tribal days now amplified in a world of constant visibility. But admitting envy feels shameful, so we bury it. Instead of confronting it, we rationalize. They don't deserve it, we tell ourselves. They must have cheated their way up. This is cognitive dissonance at work. Our minds twist uncomfortable truths into stories that let us feel superior, even righteous, in our resentment. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychologist, gave a name to this hidden part of ourselves, the shadow. The shadow is everything we repress, our anger, our jealousy, our insecurities. It's the voice that whispers resentment when someone outshines us, but society demands we keep it locked away, so we do. We smile at the coworker who got the raise we wanted, even as we secretly hope they stumble. We cheer for a friend's success while quietly tallying their flaws. The shadow doesn't vanish. It festers, growing stronger in the dark. But why hide it? Because authenticity is risky. Admitting jealousy or resentment invites judgment, conflict, or rejection. So we perform. In the workplace, we see this in the colleague who praises your work but subtly undermines you in meetings. Their words are honey, but their actions are laced with venom. Studies on workplace dynamics reveal that rivalry often masquerades as camaraderie, driven by what psychologists call social desirability bias, the need to appear likable even when we're seething inside. This isn't just personal, it's universal. Envy, as psychologists note, is one of the most primal human emotions, yet it's also the most taboo. We're taught to celebrate others' successes, to suppress our bitterness, but that suppression doesn't erase the feeling, it buries it deeper. Social media makes this worse, turning every post into a stage for comparison. That friend's curated life isn't just a photo, it's a mirror reflecting our own insecurities. And when we can't measure up, resentment creeps in, disguised as indifference or false praise. The suspense lies in this. If we all carry this shadow, if we all hide these feelings, what does it say about the people around us? That colleague's compliment, that friend's smile, are they genuine? Or are they masks? And more unsettlingly, what about you? What resentments do you harbor, tucked away behind your own carefully crafted facade? The truth is, this silent hatred isn't just something others do, it's in all of us, waiting to be acknowledged. But how does this play out in the world we live in today, where every interaction is filtered through screens and societal rules? Let's step into the modern age, where these hidden emotions find new ways to thrive. The modern facade, social media and cultural norms. We've seen how history and psychology shape our tendency to hide resentment. But what happens when these ancient instincts collide with the modern world? Picture a digital stage where every post, every photo, every carefully curated moment is a performance. Welcome to the age of social media, where the masks we wear are no longer just smiles, they're meticulously crafted personas designed to dazzle, impress, and conceal. In this world, hidden resentment doesn't just simmer, it thrives, amplified by a culture that demands we play nice while secretly seething. Social media is a paradox. It connects us, yet it isolates us in a cycle of comparison. Every scroll through your feed is a gallery of someone else's triumphs, a new car, a dream job, a picture-perfect family. These aren't just posts, they're mirrors reflecting what you don't have, what you haven't achieved. Psychologists call this upward social comparison, and studies show it's a direct path to envy and insecurity. That influencer's flawless life isn't real, it's a highlight reel, but it stings all the same. You might tap like on their post, but inside, resentment brews. Why them? Why not you? Yet admitting this feels petty, so you bury it, adding another layer to your own facade. But it's not just social media. Our culture enforces a deeper, more insidious pressure, the mandate to be polite, to conform, to never rock the boat. From childhood, we're taught that honesty must be tempered with kindness, that speaking your truth risks being labeled rude or worse. This creates a world where authenticity is a liability. Consider the phenomenon of performative allyship. People publicly championing causes not out of genuine belief, but to gain social capital. They post hashtags, share slogans, and nod along in agreement. But behind closed doors, their true feelings may tell a different story. This isn't sincerity, it's survival in a world where the wrong word can lead to ostracism. Cancel culture takes this further, turning every misstep into a potential exile. Fear of being cancelled forces people to police their words, to hide their doubts or frustrations behind a veneer of agreement. That coworker who nods enthusiastically at your idea in a meeting, they might privately scoff at it later, but they'll never say it to your face. The risk is too high. This fear of repercussions doesn't eliminate resentment. It buries it deeper, where it festers into something more toxic. Even our everyday interactions are shaped by these norms. Think of the friend who compliments your success but changes the subject when you share more, or the family member who asks about your life with a smile that doesn't quite reach their eyes. These moments aren't random. They're symptoms of a society that prioritizes appearances over truth. We're all actors in a grand performance, reciting lines of politeness while our shadows, those hidden resentments, whisper in the background. This modern facade is a pressure cooker. Social media amplifies our comparisons, cultural norms demand our silence, and the fear of judgment keeps us in line. The result? A world where genuine connection is drowned out by curated lies, where resentment grows in the gaps between what we say and what we feel. But what happens when this tension builds too far? What are the consequences of a society that forces us to hide our truths? The answer lies in the cracks that are already forming, cracks that reveal the cost of living behind these masks, the consequences of hidden resentment. What happens when resentment festers, locked away behind smiles and polite gestures? It doesn't vanish, it grows, seeping into our relationships, our minds, and the very fabric of society. Hidden hatred is a silent poison, and its consequences are as insidious as they are profound. From fractured friendships to societal upheavals, the cost of suppressing our true feelings ripples outward, leaving a trail of destruction that we can no longer ignore. Consider the workplace, where masked resentment often takes the form of passive-aggressive sabotage. That colleague who forgets to include you in a crucial email chain or subtly undermines your ideas in a meeting isn't just careless. They're acting out a grudge they'll never admit. Studies in organizational psychology show that suppressed resentment fuels toxic work environments, lowering morale and productivity. The hater suffers too, trapped in a cycle of stress and guilt. Research from the American Psychological Association links chronic suppressed emotions to increased anxiety and even physical health issues like high blood pressure. Every unspoken slight, every buried grudge, takes a toll on both the giver and the receiver. This isn't new. History is littered with examples of hidden resentment igniting chaos. In the French Revolution, years of suppressed grievances among the peasantry exploded into violence, toppling a monarchy. The courtiers' smiles and the nobles' assurances couldn't contain the festering discontent of those they ignored. Fast forward to today, and we see the same dynamic in the digital age. Online trolling, for instance, is often the outburst of resentment that can't be voiced openly. Behind anonymous usernames, people unleash the bitterness they've buried in real life, targeting strangers with venom they'd never dare express face to face. On a societal level, hidden resentment fuels division. When people feel powerless, whether due to economic inequality, social exclusion, or perceived injustice, they don't always speak out. Instead, they simmer, and that simmer becomes a wedge. Political polarization thrives on this dynamic. Groups demonize each other in private while maintaining a facade of civility in public. Social media amplifies this, turning whispered resentments into echoed chambers of outrage. The result? A fractured world where trust erodes and genuine connection becomes a casualty. But the most chilling consequence is personal. Hidden resentment doesn't just poison relationships, it erodes our sense of self. The person who harbors silent hatred lives in a state of inner conflict, torn between their true feelings and the mask they wear. The person on the receiving end, sensing the insincerity, grows wary, isolated, unable to trust. Both are trapped in a cycle of pretense, where authenticity is sacrificed for safety. This is the true cost, a world where we're surrounded by people yet feel profoundly alone. If we continue to ignore this silent epidemic, the cracks will only widen. Relationships will crumble under the weight of unspoken truths. Societies will fracture as resentment festers into open conflict. But there is a way out, a path to break this cycle before it consumes us. The question is, are we brave enough to face the truth, not just about others, but about ourselves? Let's explore how we can dismantle these masks and reclaim authenticity in a world that demands we hide. Breaking the cycle, a path to authenticity. We've journeyed through the shadows of human nature, uncovering the hidden resentments that poison our relationships and fracture our world. But here, at the edge of this unsettling truth, lies a choice: to continue wearing masks or to tear them down and embrace something rarer, authenticity. Breaking the cycle of hidden hatred isn't easy. It demands courage, self-awareness, and a willingness to confront the discomfort within ourselves and others. Yet, in this challenge lies the promise of genuine connection, a world where smiles reflect truth rather than conceal daggers. The first step is to face our own shadows. Jean-Paul Sartre, the existentialist philosopher, argued that authenticity begins with taking responsibility for our choices and emotions. That pang of envy when a friend succeeds, that flicker of resentment toward a colleague's praise. These aren't flaws to hide, they're signals to acknowledge. Psychologists suggest journaling or mindfulness to uncover these buried feelings. Ask yourself, what am I really feeling and why? By naming our resentments, we strip them of their power to fester in silence. Next, we must embrace vulnerability. In a culture that equates honesty with risk, speaking our truth feels like stepping into a storm. But vulnerability isn't weakness, it's strength. Instead of masking frustration with politeness, try assertive communication. Studies in psychology show that expressing feelings calmly and directly, saying, "I felt overlooked when my idea wasn't acknowledged," reduces conflict and builds trust. It's not about confrontation, it's about clarity. When we model this honesty, we give others permission to do the same, unraveling the web of pretense. This extends to our digital lives. Social media thrives on curated facades, but we can choose to post with intention, sharing struggles alongside triumphs, not just highlight reels. By showing our authentic selves, we invite others to drop their masks, creating a ripple effect of sincerity. Imagine a world where a like reflects genuine support, not hidden envy. The challenge is daunting. Society rewards conformity, and authenticity can feel like swimming against the tide. But every step toward truth, every honest conversation, every moment of self-reflection chips away at the culture of hidden resentment. The reward is profound. Relationships built on trust, not suspicion. A society where differences are aired, not buried. As Sartre reminds us, we are condemned to be free to choose who we are and how we connect. So the next time you sense a smile that doesn't reach the eyes, or feel a grudge rising in yourself, pause. Ask, what's really happening here? Dare to speak your truth, to listen, to understand. By breaking this cycle, we don't just free ourselves, we begin to heal a world suffocating under the weight of unspoken hatred. The question isn't whether we can change, it's whether we're brave enough to try.